You know how we always obsess over processors and RAM? What if I told you the most crucial part of your new laptop is the one you're staring at all day long? So let's just forget about all that internal stuff for a second. We're not talking about CPU or memory today. No. Instead, we're going to focus on your actual window to the digital world. Because a great screen can literally make or break your entire experience. It can make work feel effortless and movies feel epic. But a bad one? It can ruin everything. So today we're going to break it all down. We're going to demystify all the specs, all the jargon. By the end of this, you are going to know exactly what to look for, from clarity and color to the big OLED versus LCD debate. Okay, let's dive in. I mean, think about it. The fastest processor on the planet doesn't mean a thing if you're squinting at blurry text or looking at washed out colors. Your screen is where you interact with everything, so getting it right is step number one to actually loving your new machine. Let's start with the basics, the three absolute pillars that decide how sharp, how spacious, and how visible your screen is. If you get these three right, trust me, you are already halfway to an amazing experience. Look, for any laptop between about 13 and 16 inches, Full HD just doesn't cut it anymore. Stepping up to at least 2.5K gives you text and icons that are so much sharper. It's this huge upgrade in clarity that you'll notice right away. But it's smart because it avoids the massive battery drain of a 4K screen, which is honestly overkill on a screen this size. Okay, here is a pro tip that will absolutely change the way you work. Look for a 16:10 aspect ratio. Now that little bit of extra vertical space might not sound like a big deal, but it means way less scrolling on websites, seeing more of your documents at once. It's a small tweak with a huge impact on your productivity. You're going to see this word nits thrown around everywhere. So what on earth is a nit? Well, it's just a way to measure brightness. That's it. So the real question is, how many do you actually need? For most of us working inside, at home or in a normal office, somewhere between 300 and 400 nits is kind of the sweet spot. But if you ever plan to work near a bright, sunny window, or, actually take your laptop outside, you're going to want to look for 500 nits or more. That extra brightness is what cuts through the glare and keeps your screen readable. All right, now for the main event, the big one, the great screen debate, OLED versus LCD. Is the pricier OLED screen always the winner? Well, not necessarily. Let's break down the real-world differences so you can decide for yourself.
The magic of OLED is actually pretty simple when you think about it. Imagine every single pixel on your screen is its own tiny little light bulb. It can turn on to make color, or it can turn completely off. And when it's off, it's truly perfectly black. No light at all.
Now LCDs are totally different. Instead of a million tiny light bulbs, you've basically got one big flashlight, the backlight, that's always on. It shines through a layer of pixels to make the image. And this one difference is what causes all their pros and cons. So here's the trade-off. OLED gives you those stunning, perfect blacks and super vibrant colors that make photos and movies just pop. But they're almost always glossy, and yeah, they cost more. On the other hand, a really good LCD can still have beautiful color, and it often comes with a matte anti-glare finish that's so much better for working in a bright office, all while saving you some cash. Ah yes, burn-in. This is the big, scary ghost that haunts every conversation about OLED, right? The fear is that if you leave something static on the screen for too long, like your taskbar, it can permanently burn itself into the display. But is that really something to worry about on a modern laptop? Well, the good news is manufacturers have been working on this for years, and today's laptops use this kind of triple threat approach to fight it. You've got smart software like screensavers and taskbar dimming working together with much tougher, more resistant panel hardware. Honestly, for most people's typical use, burn-in is just not the issue it used to be. Okay, this next part is for all my creative folks out there. The photographers, the video editors, anyone who absolutely needs the colors on their screen to match the real world. This next spec is probably the most important one for you. So you might see this weird spec called Delta E. Don't let the name scare you. It's basically just a report card for color accuracy. The lower the score, the better the grade. Simple as that. So, what's a good score? The magic number you're looking for is anything under 2. A Delta E of less than 2, well, what that really means is the screen is so accurate, your own eyes can barely tell the difference between the color it's supposed to be and the color it's showing. It means you can trust what you see.
All right, our last stop. We've talked a lot about how a screen looks, but what about how it feels to use? This is where refresh rate comes into play, and it's all about smoothness.
Most screens you've used are probably 60 Hz, meaning the picture updates 60 times a second. But when you jump up to 90 Hz or even 120 Hz, oh man, it is a world of difference. Scrolling a web page, moving your mouse, dragging windows, everything just feels incredibly fluid and responsive. Once you've tried it, it's really hard to go back. But there's always a catch, isn't there? That amazing buttery smoothness, it comes at a cost, and that cost is your battery life. Running your screen at 120 Hz all the time will definitely use more power. The good news is you can almost always just flip it back down to 60 Hz in Windows settings when you're on the go and need to save that juice. So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? It's that there is no single best screen. There's only the best screen for you and what you do. So, ask yourself these questions. Answering them honestly is what will guide you to the perfect display for your workflow and your environment. Armed with all this knowledge, you are ready. You can look right past all the marketing fluff and choose a display that will actually make you happy every single time you open up your laptop. You've got this.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.